Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host Jum. Today, we wrap up our current release schedule with House of the Dragon Season 2. Now, if you may remember, if you've been here for a while, we quite like Season 1, even though we had worries because, let's be honest, Game of Thrones didn't end the best for a lot of people. Some people do like it, and that's valid and fine, but like for a lot of people, it's a very divisive ending. But I think Season 1 of House of the Dragon was very good, and I was looking forward to this one. How about you?
I have a question. Like, does this have a book, or are they just going on as it like?
It's literally just one book.
It's just one book.
I think it's just one book, but it's like it's thick book.
It's done. It's done.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay, then we got nothing to worry about because, come on, at the start of this, it's already pretty great, and as we're going through Season 2, not gonna lie, not a single episode, in my opinion, was a slow burn. I think maybe the first episode was like a little bit of a drag.
Yeah, we're just getting used to the whole situation, and like
yeah,
before we go,
it just rises up from there. Anyway, yeah you were saying?
Before we go on, I do know this is ending with Season 4. Like, they're not pushing it to Season 8, like Game of Thrones. So, like, I hope this is a tied bow by the end. But it looks like it because, yeah, Episode 1 was a slow burn, but, like, it ramps up pretty quickly. Like, there's a lot of political intrigue and deceptions going on around, but, like, we won't get into that because that's going to be a longer video. But, like, I do have a few complaints here and there, but overall I do like this season. Not as much as the first season, but like I still like this one.
Agreed. Like the first season, like slapped a little too hard, and the Season 2 kind of had to like keep up with that part. But I do agree, it is not as good as Season 1.
Yeah, but like I don't know, like for a while when this is going on with The Boys and like other like heavy shows, or like sorry, not other heavy shows, but like with The Boys, like you'd be mistaken to be like, oh well, it's Game of Thrones, and you forget that like it can get heavy with like episode 1's ending with the death of the infant or the kid, and you're like, oh right, we're in Westeros, shit like this happens all the time, oh fuck. But like it's medieval and you're like, yeah, I can see that happening.
My innocent heart was just like, oh no, they're gonna kidnap the kid, and you just hear that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, never mind. I forgot it's Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
They don't roll that way.
And you thought the worst of it was when he kicked the dog, and you're like, Jesus Christ, fucking shit. And then like it ends, and you're like, oh my god. Okay.
By the way, that dog deserved none of that shit.
Yeah.
Even after its owner got hanged, it fucking pulled a Hachiko and stayed with its owner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I feel bad. Can I just like adopt it?
Yeah, right. The thing I didn't like is that Daemon Targaryen was fucking off in like that castle. I forgot the name, but like he fucks off to like Harrenhal. Like
Harrenhal, and yeah, he kind of just has these hallucinations. He meets up with that tree thing that has a face on it, and I'm like,
and he sees the future, and you're like, all right, remember how we fucked this up? You're like, yeah, I do. Fuck you.
yeah, but like, at least here is like, okay, I don't mind it. I really don't. Like, I do like seeing Daemon in action.
Yeah.
But clearly, he had a bit of a side quest to gather an army for what's her name? Rhaenyra.
Yeah, Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Like, he made these two factions fight, and then when things got too messed up, he was like, "Joke, I don't like that guy." The guy's like, "What?" But I did, and then gets decapitated. You're like, "Oh, right." This is Westeros.
He riled that guy up like so much. I was like, at your bidding, sir. You know, like he's ready to go, like, like die for this man. And I'm like, oh, you poor bastard.
Right. I think I also don't like how fast travel is unlocked here. Like, Rhaenyra and Alicent go to each other's respective camps with no problem, and you're like, what? Why?
Yeah, like, okay, I would understand if it's Rhaenyra who's able to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't understand it when it's like what's her name?
Allison?
The other girl.
Yeah.
Allison. When she does it, I'm just like, bullshit. You would have been cut.
You're right. Like you're crossing an ocean and nothing happens, and your city is under blockade, and you just escape scot-free. How? Can you show
Yeah.
me the process?
And by the way, like her entire thing was like, I want to get away with my daughter and
Yeah.
her kid.
Yeah.
You know, like to escape because her crazy brother is starting to like rile everybody up for war.
Yeah.
So I want to like she wants to get out of there before it starts. Girl, when you went to Renera, why didn't you just bring your daughter?
Right.
Anyway,
But you mentioned the crazy son, and I think Aemon Targaryen is the show stealer in this one. Like he really
agree.
steps up. Like if his
Yeah.
poor brother Aegon gets the worst end of everything. Like I know we're jumping all over the place, but like, and this is a long show, and that's why. But like I do love episode 4's dragon battle.
yeah. I was gonna say, dude, episode 4 is, in my opinion, the best episode. And man, Aemon is just chef's kiss. Like every time he walks into the room, he's all like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's all like that shit. And I'm like, all right, he's gonna command the room, and he does. He
Yeah.
does. He makes his like his brother Aegon kind of foolish a
Yeah.
lot of the times. And I'm like, yeah, dude, shut the fuck up.
Right? I do love the setup for the battle with Rhaenyra taking on Aegon, and then Sir Kristen's like I have a plan, and the guy's like, that's your fucking plan to bring the king in? What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, but I love how Christian was just like, that wasn't part of the plan.
Right? And then like I love the perspective of the soldiers when they see Vhagar. They're just like, what the fuck is that? Why is it so
Right?
big?
Dude, I love the opening scene for Vhagar though.
Yeah.
Like, they just fucking pulled the Jurassic Park one. I swear. We're like, why are we looking at? Oh shit!
Right?
Like it's camouflage. And I was like,
Yeah, even like Kristen's army is like, yeah, we're gonna. Holy fuck, Jesus Christ!
I'm happy that's on our side.
Right. But like Vhagar has a mind of her own. I do love the like Aegon's like, all right, my brother's gonna help me, and he's like, oh fuck, oh why? What did I do to you?
Aemon striking again at another sibling.
Right. And then that's the only time ever, the second time in the series where I got jump scared, because when Rhaenyra was escaping, I was like, where the fuck is Vhagar?
Dude, I kind of saw it coming. Like, it's his special move. It's
Yeah.
his anime attack.
Yeah.
It's coming from below.
Yeah, like a fucking shark. You're like, oh fuck. But yeah, I kind of wish this season ended there, because that's a better cliffhanger than the trailer we got for season 3. And you're like, oh, this is all set up. Okay.
Yeah.
But like, I do love the fact that they made Aemon's character step up, and he clearly is more ruthless and more power hungry than Aegon. And you see it when like Rhaenyra gets new riders, like he burns a town out of spite, and like you see the people being like, not again, don't come back, please.
Yeah, like... Yeah, I do like it that they're, like, Game of Thrones, or sorry, House of the Dragon, is able to mix, like, the childish and kind of, impulsive villain
Yeah.
to be a little bit, I'm going like, okay, he has dimension to him.
Yeah.
He's capable, but at the same time, he's childish.
Yeah.
He gets mad, he throws a tantrum, but then again, he does
Yeah.
perform well when it counts. So I'm like, I like that that pretty good balance that they have with Aemon, and that's why, like I say, he is starting to become a really good villain here.
Yeah.
And by the way, before we even had like Aegon die,
Or
not die,
die.
he got scorched.
Yeah.
I love it that the entire world was just picking on him.
You're right.
Like, even his mom was like, just because you wear the crown doesn't mean it imbues you with wisdom.
Right.
And I'm like,
even his granddad was like, "You fucking idiot!" Like we did all the
Yeah.
things right, and you just squandered it by hanging all the rat catchers. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're not worthy of the king. And Aegon's was like, "Yeah, well, you're not the hand." And he's like, "Well, fine, fucking have it." You're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay." Um,
He's just like, you're fired then.
yeah,
And then like, I love it where like fuck, what was the mom's name?
Allison, his mom.
Yeah, Allison is just like he's just like, girls like, what do you want me to do? What do you do best? Nothing. I was like, oh, what do we expect of you? Nothing. Yeah, I'm just like,
Damn.
fuck you.
I do kind of wish Renera did more other than being held back because she's like, I want to do something, and her guard's like,
I
no, you can't, you don't, we won't allow it, and you're like, but she's a dragon rider too. I get the risk, but like, you let Rhaenyra fly off to the sun, and you seem less concerned about her than Rhaenyra. I get that Rhaenyra is the queen, but like, shouldn't you be as concerned for, because she's like the queen of Valeria? Uh, she's the queen of Corlys Velaryon, and you're like, so there's, I guess, not all queens are equal then.
I guess so. Like Granera seems to have a little bit more power, I guess. I don't know. But other than that, like I feel like they're just kind of amping it up because we've seen them use Renera
Yeah,
in a way where we are just like, oh shit,
yeah,
you know. So I think they're just kind of saving that. Of
yeah,
course, they're really introducing all the new writers, all the new characters, and I feel like this was more of like Aemon's kind of rise to power kind of season,
yeah,
and then next season is all out war. So for sure, we're gonna see both sides, both Aemon and Rhaenyra,
yeah,
just absolutely butting heads.
yeah. I do love the scene when she gets the riders who are not royals, and like she calls out Venator, and you're like it just reminds me of that scene in season 8 where Daenerys has like the dragon wings on her back, and like
Yeah.
now with Rhaenyra and Venator, and you're like, Jesus Christ, you are the second biggest dragon in Westeros.
Dude, I swear to God. I like watching Game of Thrones and then watching this.
Yeah,
I forgot how big a dragon can get. Because when you go to Game of Thrones, they're so big, but they're like a fair size, like maybe a school bus with legs and wings.
yeah,
Also, they're wyverns, not dragons.
Hmm.
Just to correct everyone. Anyway, they're like school buses with wings. Well, like the dragons here
yeah.
are pretty much fucking like Airbuses. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right? You're like, I'm using dragons. And then the show's like, you haven't seen anything yet. And you're like, oh, that's a dragon.
Yeah.
Drogon and the rest of the trio are just wyverns. And like, you do see their origins here. And you're like, yeah, those are the eggs of Daenerys. And then you see Daemon's vision. And you're like, yeah, we know what happens next. Thank you guys for, again, fucking it up. But sure. Like, I do love that scene when Vhagar is chasing that one rider, and then he stops and he's like, "Oh, we can't face that." And then Rhaenyra's dragon is just calling Vhagar all sorts of slurs, and you're like, "Yeah, give it to Vhagar."
Yeah, and then you see the three dragons
Yeah,
just like standing
Yeah.
on point. I'm like, oh yeah.
yeah,
I do, yeah, because I was wondering the entire season, was like, what is the purpose of like these characters, these bastard
yeah,
Targaryens?
yeah,
Like, what are these guys about? Like, I get it if they're gonna be like, they're gonna have like a role in the war in some way,
yes.
but at the same time, I was just like, one guy, his wife and his like kid is like not doing so well. His kid's like dying. I'm like, what's the story with this guy?
Right?
And then there's one guy who's like saying, I'm a Targaryen, but I'm a bastard child, but I still have the Targaryen blood in me.
Yeah,
And then there's these sailors who came from that one guy, and he's just trying to reconnect.
yeah. In the most worst way the guy's just like,
Yeah.
I don't want your help. Leave me alone. And he's like, but I want to reach out. Like, stop it. No, I don't
Son.
want. Speaking of surprises, like, I forgot, like, when the season opens in the North, I was like, alright, we never saw House Stark yet. And, like, we see a Stark, and I was like, oh, yeah. And then when we see them coming towards the aid of the Targaryens by the end, I was like, alright, the North isn't playing, the North remembers. Let's fucking go then.
Yeah.
I do like the last introduction of that one lady pirate. I was like, who the fuck are you? Alright, let's see what happens.
Wait, didn't they? Wasn't that supposed to be a guy?
Yeah, they. In the books.
They called it they called that character a he.
I think that's just for reputation.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, like, and then she fights the Lannister,
Yeah.
and she kind of like was like, "Aye, you got my respect.
Yeah.
I will fight for you.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
my lives."
Right. But yeah, we see, like, I think I would dock upon because the last episode is just one big teaser for season 3, and you're like,
Hmm.
oh man, I really wish we just ended in episode 4 so that we were like, what the fuck happens now?
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else I liked. I do like that Sir Kristen is realizing that, like, this war is pointless, because he's like, what the fuck is the point of honor? Honor is just a myth that melts away in the sun. And I was like, I might use that one of these days. If I'm-
Yeah. I guess, like, sure, I guess he's complex, but at the same time, he's just annoying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm annoyed with Sir Christian. Like, you see here, and he's just like all upset and shit, rubbing his like sword with a lemon. And I'm like, bruh, you kept choosing the wrong fucking side.
Right. And you still choose the wrong side today.
Yeah.
But like, even though this is not as good as season 1, I still enjoyed my time here. I was like, alright,
Yeah.
I like the setup. Except for the last episode, because I'm like, oh wow, this is really the setups, I guess. Alright.
Yeah.
Sure.
Also, I think I might have gotten lost somewhere. I don't know what's happening to that one girl that's like running away from a dragon.
Oh yeah. Running, isn't she trying to tame the dragon? Because she's like climbing hills and shit, and it's like, I found the bodies, I found more sheep bodies, and then she finds the dragon. She's like, I don't know what to do. And you're like, what are you gonna do?
Oh, okay. I thought she was running away from it. Okay, now I understand. I don't know, maybe I was like kind of zoning out when it came to her part, because there are a lot of like side stories
Yeah.
here, which it's not new to like the world of Game of Thrones, but a lot of times you kind of with our ADHD brains, we kind of just like pick and choose which one should we really want to focus on.
Right. But yeah, that's all I want to say. I have to say for season 2. Anything else you want to add on?
Nah. Again, I see your like point where it's like you kind of wanted to like see a lot more
Yeah.
from certain characters, and you wanted like it to be a bit bigger. But in my opinion, I think this show was paced near perfect.
Hmm.
Of course, I do have some gripes, but the show is paced nearly perfect, and it's a really good build up for season 3. And I'm sorry to like maybe the showrunners, and I don't even know if my opinion matters, but like I have high expectations for season 3 with the amount of build up they're doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm really excited.
Yeah. So what would you rate season 2 of House of the Dragon?
Excuse me. I'll rate season 2 of House of the Dragon an 8.5.
Okay.
An 8.5. I do agree with you. There are some moments here that I wish kind of just like was a little bit more fleshed out, and some scenes were like could have ended better rather than just the big trailer at the end.
Hmm.
But other than that, the characters were still great, even though they were kinda underutilized, even though they're like supposed to be the catch
Yeah.
of the entire show, like with what's his name?
Damon?
With Damon, Rhaenyra. We mostly focused on the villains here.
Yeah.
I don't like it that we got too much of Aegon, but great actor. Horrible character. and he played them very well.
Yeah.
I am so happy that we got to see more dragons because it is House of the Dragon,
Yeah.
like not House of the Politics. So I'm so happy we get to see more dragons.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of glossed over the fact that Rhaenyra burnt a shit ton of her like relatives
Oh,
just to say who can ride a fucking dragon.
right. She's like, all right, see you on the other side. And you're like, what?
I was like, all right, pick your starter. No. Like the worst version of Pokemon.
It's like, you don't choose your Pokemon, it chooses you. And you're like, what does that mean?
What does it do when it doesn't choose me?
Yeah, right? Can I go if it doesn't? No. Oh, okay.
Anyway, but yeah, this is the worst episode of How to Train Your Dragon.
It keeps happening.
But yeah, this show does do a really good job at making me excited for the next season.
Yeah.
So I can't wait.
I'll give this a 7. I do like where the characters are heading. I do like where the story is heading to. But again, I just wish there was more to be done. We also forgot to mention that Rhaenyra's other actress comes back, Millie Alcock. I was like, oh, right, Supergirl was Rhaenyra last season, and now she's a Kryptonian. But like, I do love the dance of dragons. As you mentioned, this is called House of the Dragon, and like that's why I came here. I do love seeing the armies by the end marching with the dragon. I was like, oh, that's pretty sick. Also, didn't know the Lannister army literally marches with lions. I was like, huh, all right.
Yeah. Maybe that was the old tradition. They don't do that much no more.
Yeah, I mean, if the Starks march with wolves, why not? But yeah, I do like where this is going, even though this season's kind of lacking. But I am still excited for the last 2 seasons of the show, and hopefully, again, it ends in a nice bow. Which is funny because we already reached the mark where we're like, remember that Game of Thrones premiered more than 10 years ago, and now you're like, yeah, I remember good TV till it became bad. Hopefully, by the next decade, this decade, we're like, yeah, but it redeemed itself with House of the Dragon.
It in my opinion, I think it might.
Yeah.
Since the book is finished, everything's finished. There is no like divisive minds of trying to figure out how the ending should be. It's already set in stone. So I have high expectations.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been our video for House of the Dragon Season 2. Who's your favorite character to the audience watching? But if you like more our videos in general, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. Spotify to hear us on the go. In the video, Zoda's voices on Letterboxd. TikTok, I got it reverse. And Letterboxd, that's Enswolf. Where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me at JohnJM_ on Instagram. It is America.
And until the next one, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao. I think you forgot to plug in Zoda's voices.
I do Zoda's voices. I'll put it in the credits.